Hi guys. So in this video, and now we're understanding the use case diagram very well, but I tried to do this before through the class recording lecture, but I was shocked that many of you are not giving me, like for the submissions, they are submitting something which is not a use case diagram for me or any software engineering expert. Okay, so for doing or having use case diagrams, we need to have what we call use case diagram represented in a unified way. We use unified modeling language, UML. So the submissions are supposed to be similar, but what I will show you now that we have different submissions. So we start with the first submission. The first one, I have this. This is not what we say. This is not a use case diagram. I don't see the components of a use case diagram. I don't see the picture of a stickman for an actor. I don't see the circles that represent what we say, the use cases or the oval. I don't see the system frontiers that I was teaching so far. You can refer to the 10 minutes recording if you want. So I don't see anything from this. So this for me is a draft of or student trying to understand things, but not a use case diagram, okay? This also is not a use case diagram. Even that I see things like include, but for include, we have rules how to write include, for example. Include, for example, you need to have your dashed line and it goes from one, there is this arrow part, it goes from one, I would say, use case, another use case, and we do not write include, we write that between these stereotypes. So you write the include and so on. So for me, this is not a use case diagram. And here we start seeing things like we covered in a use case diagram. We see this is a use case, this is a use case. So I start seeing some use cases. But elevator manager, by the way, this is not a use case. This is someone. When it's someone, a use case starts like this student is doing good. So it starts with a verb. For example, register something, allocate something, view something, do something, record something. So all these use cases are correct. These are use cases. Perfect. But this must be a human. It's a manager. So a human is represented by a stickman, and a stickman must be respected. I'll come back to this point. And we write the name under the elevator manager. Okay, so, and this stickman has all these elements are supposed to be within the system, let's say. We have always a system frontiers, and this useman have association, which is, there is no this side of the arrow. We don't put this, please. We don't do. I don't know from where you guys are bringing this. I never taught something like this. So there is no arrow. It's just a simple line connecting the actor to the use case, okay? Like that. This use case, you just bring and write it in here, okay? And the same for all your possible use cases. Now, this double sense, I never taught this, I never seen. And so this probably a correct use case in this correct use case. Otherwise, in overall, this is not a use case diagram. But with this submission, probably we start seeing things related to the use case diagram. Things are getting better probably here. So we see that mainly this is the system part. Okay, we need to close. We have frontiers for the system. Maybe it's because of the picture. Let's suppose that this is our system. Okay, this is student doing really great and good. So we have our system. We put our actors on the right and left side. I will come back to the actors. And in the middle of your system, you usually write the name of your system, which is missing here, and you have your use cases. I will not dive into that now because I will give you a detailed correction for practice 1, okay? But we learn from mistakes. So this one, I really like, I like the design, so nice. Stickman is having a nice hat here. This one, I don't know, he's holding something. This one is having a stick, I guess, and this one maybe is having some fun. I was just mentioning in my like recordings to not do this. And unfortunately, someone is doing like every year, whenever I teach software engineering, there must be that student who is doing that. And the good thing that this is doing in the submission, I'm making this recording, I'm sure the student will not do in the exam, but it's so sad when I see my students doing this in the exam. Please, you guys, none of you will add his touch in the exam to to put some like design to the actors. So just see here what I was mentioning in this recording, please.
So mainly an actor is an external entity that interacts with the system, fine. And for the use case now, we represent, by the way, the actors with this like statement. And for the use case, we need to respect this order. So by the way, I always tell to my students, it's kind of, for you guys, probably we will not find a problem because for all your deliveries, you mainly are going to use some tools to draw your I would say diagrams. So there are online tools like Star UML. You need to download probably that locally. There is one very nice online that I used to use, which is Visual Paradigm. You can just write it in Google, Visual Paradigm online. And that will allow you also to insert like these representations. So you just insert them as they are. If, for example, you are going to, for some practice, you're just using, I think, like a paper and just a pen. So you're going to write things by yourself. So in this case, you just be careful. This stickman must be respected a lot, Mr. Stickman, and must be drawn the way it is. So I always tell to my students, if, for example, in some practice, I can, okay, I find some representation of the stickman, like here it must be like a circle, and some students probably can do something like this, which is quite like funny, but can have some hair for this nice like a stick man. Then they try to make the hands in this shape, probably can make like wearing dress, or because sometimes I feel there is a like creativity in my students. So we don't use that for the UML class, at least. We will use.
Okay, so I just said we don't use that in the UML class, but I like this way of I'm drawing this stick man. Okay, we have like different like ways of thinking, but please don't do that in the exam. Please don't do that in the exam. Please don't do that in the exam and in future submissions. So a stickman must be a stickman, which is going to be, like I'm mentioning, we will draw it with the app, with a Star UML, for example. And I'm very happy that at some point many students were using this bag. So no accessories, no smileys, no like extra design for the stick man. Now, in this submission, what is the mistake? Now you can start pausing the video, thinking about the mistake, and then like you can open the video again. So in this submission, I can detect a mistake that there is no system frontiers. The system I must see, like in the previous one, some system frontiers, some name for the system. Within the system frontiers, whatever use cases that the system will allow you to do, the functionalities of the system. Right and left side, we mention our like stickmen. These stickmen are somewhere inside or some, so we don't do that. Stickman must be on the right, left side, then you have your system clearly, okay? So here we have our system clearly, we have stickman on the right, on the left. But what I didn't understand about this submission is having This arouse that me, I never remember that I thought that we do this arouse between stickman and the use case. We do kind of arouse. The only relationship I'm mentioning that the only relationship that exists probably between two stickmen, two actors, can be like the example we see. This is person, okay? This is a stickman. S is missing. Person. Particular category of stickman. It's an example. A person could be a student or could be, for example, a professor. So here I can see this kind of arouse, and it's very important, by the way, that this has this, the way it's an empty triangle, please. It's not colored like that one in the picture. So we need to keep this into account. So you have in like actors, you have, for example, person, S for student, I would say, student, and professor, okay? This is possible. This is the only relationship that we can see. And it's very rare, by the way. Other than that, I don't expect seeing this like between elements of yours, like here, what is this? You can see between the system itself or some use case and the actor. Cannot see. Between the actor and the use case, okay, like here, for example, it's better. And now you can see this kind of links between the use cases, which is even not correct, but at least between a user and the like use case, it's just a simple association. This one also is supposed to be simple association, please, okay? And then we will focus on the different use cases. Now, the difference between all previous submissions, you see here, and this one is that things are getting better probably. We start using some tool to present things. And this is how you see that all the stickmen are the same. The way of writing, it's under the stickman. So it's very nice. But when you use this kind of tools, it's you who do the design. So you must respect what we learned, that actors must be on the right and left side, not here. And the system is like this, okay? So if this is in the system, so you will not see this kind of confusion. It's kind of reorganizing things. And again, when you select the route to connect the use case to your actor, it must not be an error, okay? Next, now we have this submission. You see actors on the right, left side of the system, things that are good. We have our system, we have some relations like include and extend, supposed to be just with dashed line, but it's fine. And we will focus on that later. Now, this is a common mistake that I seen in many submissions, but just selected this one. We cannot see in a diagram some users or like stickman who don't do anything like that. If someone is not connected to some like use case, then we must not have it. Like this truck driver, or here this like truck driver, or rail conductor, or the grain dryer. These are not doing anything in my opinion, so they are not supposed to be there. If they are there, I am randomly doing something now. It's not the correct solution, but just to show you that if you are choosing this to be here, he must at least have access or do one of the use cases, okay? So all your actors must be connected to some, I would say, at least one use case. If he don't access to at least one functionality of your system, means he's not an actor for me. Why you would mention him even? So just to be careful about this. We move on to the last submission, and here things are getting better. I don't know which tool this student is using, but sometimes the tool like forces maybe that, I'm not sure if it's the tool or the student, but if the tool is making you write on the top, or you are writing by inserting a text. If you insert a text, it's you can put it like here. But if it's by the system, you are giving the name to your actor, it's supposed to be down, but that's okay for me, that's fine. If at least we are having this kind of a presentation. What I want to comment about this submission is not the position of the name of your actor. More, I want to focus on the use cases. So include and extend are there to enrich your use case diagram. They are not must. They, for few cases, we want more explanation. There is some particular cases, rare, that you have access from one use case to another. It's an obligation, then it's an include. It's an extension, it's like optional, then it's an extend. But we don't see that much frequently that you can have 10 to 12 or 11 includes and extend in your, there is not, it's a must. No, you cannot put it better than you put, and it will deduct points from your submission. So make sure that you don't use whatever we study that you must put. At least you will put it 1, 2, it will be testing your knowledge, but sometimes you can have the whole like diagram. We cannot maybe use the include, or we can maybe not have a case where some use case has some optional other use case, okay? So make sure that you are understanding whatever we are covering, so you next are going to apply it correctly, okay? So this is just examples, and next video I am going to go through the step-by-step detailed correction of practice 3, and I will show you how to do this use case diagram, okay? Thank you for watching.